Hi dear friends, greetings from the pearl of the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka. Aiboan Vanakkam. These are the greeting styles of the two main languages of Sri Lanka, Sinhala and Tamil. I am Brother Christopher Rodrigo, a Salesians of Don Bosco from the Vice Province of Sri Lanka, LKC. A Salesian brother for 21 years. At the moment I am staying at the Salesian Aspirantate at Damkotua, Sri Lanka. The seed of Christianity was planted in our island by the generous missionaries who came to us in different times of the history of our country. We were ruled by the Portuguese, then by the Dutch, and at the end by the British, who then handed over to the people of our country. Sri Lanka is a multinational state where Sinhalese form the majority of the nation's populations and the large majority are of Tamils, while most Burghers and Malays are the minority community. Here in Sri Lanka, the majority are the Buddhists, which consists of 70.2, Hindus 12.6, the Muslims 9.7, while we, the Christians, are really the minority, 7.4. Thanks to St. Joseph was known as Apostle of Sri Lanka, who came as a missionary from India some 300 years back to enkindle the flame of faith. The work of the missionaries were not so easy from then, and even the later years of the post-independence, when the government of Sri Lanka asked all the foreign missionaries, known as the white fathers and sisters, to leave the country. Of course, they left the place, and the missionary work got somewhat mishandled by the local clergy. The situation began to change when many other missionaries came to Sri Lanka, later on to evangelize the people of God. Among them, a Salesian from France, Father Henry Maurice Remery, in the year 1956, as a beacon of hope to the young people. He did not have an easy start, but the spirit of Don Bosco kept him going, and then later on many local vocations joined him. Other missionaries came specially from the India to continue the mission he started. Among those early missionaries we had Father Giuseppe Gianni, an Italian missionary priest, a very simple, gentle Salesian priest who came to our country in the 1988, but originally assigned to the Philippines, where he served as a missionary for several years. He was the first superior delegate in the Sri Lankan delegation. He was a committed Salesian confrere. May his soul rest in peace. And the latest missionary we have now from the Philippines is Father Noel Sumagi, who was with me for about 4 years now, and at present he is the rector of my community, a wonderful Salesian missionary who loved to be with the young, to animate and also to evangelize. A committed Salesian to the cause. I am happy to be with him at this moment of the formation of these young aspirants, so that one day they too may follow the path of Don Bosco to evangelize the others.
Aiboan. My name is Isal Tikshana, and I grew up in a Salesian parish. So now I am a seminarian on my final year, and I have been here in seminary about 3 years. So during those 3 years, I have met so many Salesian priests and Salesian missionaries. I able to meet Father Noel, who came to us as a Philippine missionary. So furthermore, if I narrate about him, he knows how to deal with others, accepting everyone without choosing. So that thing able to impress me. So like that, if I ever become a priest one day in the future, I also want to follow his steps like the way he did. That the accepting everyone without choosing.
I'm Shandu Avishkar. I'm studying here in Salesian Aspirante. I'm studying here during last 3 years. During my last 3 years, I met so many Salesians here, and also I met Salesian missionary Father Noel Sumagi as my rector. Um, Don Bosco said, "Do your works in extraordinary way." I saw within Father Noel, he's doing his works in extraordinary way with dealing with us. So from him, I took a lot of examples to my life. One day, I will become one priest like him. Just Pihitai.
Ayubuan, this is Father Noel Sumagi from the Teardrop of India, Sri Lanka, formerly known as Ceylon. I am almost at the end of my 6th year here of stay, sent by Director Major to be a missionary together with 4 other Salesians who came 2015. I am just so lucky that during the 500th year of celebration of Christianity in the Philippines, I am one of those who are able to share my faith to those others who are maybe not so knowledgeable of Christ and yet so precious in the eyes of God. True, it is we are not the majority, but it is not that difficult to be a Catholic here. Why? Because you will see immediately the difference between the Buddhists and the Catholics, supposed to be. Being Christians, we have that which makes us different, our belief in Christ. But more than saying and preaching it, the living of our life as missionaries here and Christians among ourselves and with the people around us poses always a challenge to be authentic to what Christ has commanded, loving everyone without counting the cost, without choosing, being generous to all, not only to those who love you, and making sure that your love of God comes first before love of anything, because being a missionary always demand that Christ be the center. Learning the language, embracing the culture, learning to eat the food, making sure that you understand more than being understood. These are some of the trials I had, especially as I began my years here as a person trying to be a missionary. But of course, nothing is impossible for those who really like to serve God in the best way possible. I missed a lot of the life I had in the Philippines. People I love, people I grew up with, those people I am comfortable working together with. But God desires other things that maybe will not be that easy for you for a while, will not make you smile as a missionary. But you know, should be done because that is what God desires and makes you, at the end of the day, more at peace, more than simply being happy. I am always challenged to live my life according to God's will and desire. Daily communication with God, making sure that I don't bring myself, but simply being God's instrument to everyone, for everyone, every day, is always a mission that I have every day here in Sri Lanka as a Filipino missionary. Yes, being a missionary is difficult, but not impossible. So if I can do it, you too can do it. Let us bring God's love to all. Mabuhay ang mga Pilipinong misyonero, Salesyano, misyonero.